AITA for having my grandparents walk me down the aisle after my parents chose to attend my sister's housewarming party instead of my wedding. I, 28F, am getting married next month to my fiancé James, 30M. We've been together for 5 years and engaged for 1. This should be the happiest time of my life, but instead, I'm dealing with family drama that's tearing me apart. Buckle up, because this is going to be a long one. For some background, I have an older sister, Megan, 32F, who has always been the golden child in our family. She's successful, charismatic, and seems to do everything right in our parents' eyes. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister, but there's always been an underlying tension due to the clear favoritism our parents show her. To give you an idea of how deep this favoritism runs, let me share a few examples from our childhood. 1. When I was 10 and Megan was 14, we both had important events on the same day. I had a piano recital I'd been practicing for months, and Megan had a soccer championship. Our parents chose to attend Megan's game, sending our babysitter to record my recital. They said Megan's event was once in a lifetime while I'd have many more recitals. 2. For our 16th birthdays, Megan received a brand new car. When my 16th birthday rolled around 2 years later, I got a set of used golf clubs. I don't even play golf, and was told I could use Megan's old car when she was away at college. 3. When it came time for college, our parents paid for Megan's full tuition at an Ivy League school. For me, they co-signed my loans for a state school, saying they had already spent so much on education and that I should be more financially responsible. Despite all this, I've worked hard to build my own life and success. I put myself through college, got a job in marketing, and worked my way up to a senior position at a respected firm. I met James at a charity event 4 years ago, and we instantly clicked. He's kind, supportive, and treats me like an equal partner, something I've never really experienced in my family dynamic. James proposed a year ago during a surprise weekend getaway. It was perfect. He even coordinated with my best friend to make sure my nails were done for the inevitable ring photos. We were on cloud 9 and immediately started planning our dream wedding. We set our wedding date for June 15, 2024, and sent out save the dates to our families and close friends right away. We wanted to make sure everyone could plan accordingly, especially since we were planning a destination wedding at a beautiful vineyard about 3 hours from our hometown. My parents seemed excited at first, helping us with some initial planning and even offering to contribute financially. Fast forward to 3 months ago. Megan announced that she and her husband had bought their first house, a beautiful 5-bedroom home in an upscale neighborhood. Of course, our parents were over the moon about this. They immediately started talking about helping Megan and her husband move in and planning a big housewarming party to celebrate. At first, I didn't think much of it. I was happy for my sister and thought it was nice that our parents wanted to help them settle in. But then, about a month ago, I got a call from my mom that turned my world upside down. She started the conversation by asking if there was any way we could possibly change our wedding date. Confused, I asked why. That's when she dropped the bomb. Megan had scheduled her housewarming party for the same day as our wedding, and our parents wanted to attend both events. I was stunned. I reminded my mom that we had set this date nearly a year ago and that everyone, including Megan, knew about it. My mom's response? Well, honey, you know how busy everyone is these days. It was the only weekend that worked for most of Megan's friends and colleagues. And you know how important networking is for her career. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I asked my mom point blank if she was saying that Megan's housewarming party was more important than my wedding. She got defensive, saying I was being dramatic and that they were both important events. She suggested that maybe James and I could have a small ceremony in the morning, and then everyone could attend Megan's party in the afternoon. I was livid. I told my mom that there was no way I was changing my wedding plans to accommodate a housewarming party, regardless of whose it was. She then had the audacity to say, well, if you're going to be so inflexible, your father and I might not be able to make it to the wedding. We can't miss Megan's first housewarming in her new home. I hung up the phone in tears. James was furious when I told him what happened. He suggested we call my dad to see if he could talk some sense into my mom, but that conversation went even worse. My dad accused me of being selfish and not considering the family as a whole. He said that Megan's event was important for the entire family's social standing and that I was being childish for not understanding that. Over the next few weeks, things escalated. Megan called me, saying I was being unreasonable and that I should be happy to share my special day with her. She even suggested that having her housewarming party on the same day would be a great way to celebrate both of our milestones as sisters. I couldn't believe she was serious. During this time, I was an emotional wreck. I couldn't focus at work, and I was snapping at James over the smallest things. He suggested I see a therapist to help me process everything, which turned out to be incredibly helpful. My therapist helped me see that this wasn't just about the wedding, it was about a lifetime of feeling second best and having my feelings dismissed by my family. With my therapist's encouragement, I decided to set some firm boundaries. I wrote an email to my parents and Megan, explaining in no uncertain terms that I would not be changing my wedding date, and that their choice to prioritize a housewarming party over my wedding was hurtful and damaging to our relationship. The response was not what I hoped for. My mom replied with a long, guilt-tripping email about how I was tearing the family apart and how they had always supported me, conveniently forgetting all the times they hadn't. My dad didn't respond at all. Megan sent a text accusing me of being jealous of her success and trying to ruin her big moment. Feeling lost and unsupported, I reached out to my grandparents, my mom's parents, for support. They've always been a stable, loving presence in my life, often stepping in to attend my events when my parents were busy with Megan's. They were appalled by my parents' behavior and immediately offered to help in any way they could. That's when I had an idea. I asked if they would be willing to walk me down the aisle in place of my parents. They agreed without hesitation, telling me they were honored to do so. My grandmother even got teary-eyed, saying she had always dreamed of being part of her granddaughter's weddings but never thought she'd have such an important role. When I informed my parents of this decision, all hell broke loose. My mom cried, saying I was taking away a mother's right to see her daughter get married. My dad called me ungrateful and accused me of trying to punish them. Megan got involved too, telling me I was being spiteful and that I would regret this decision for the rest of my life. But I've stood my ground. I told them all that they made their choice, and now I'm making mine. My wedding will go ahead as planned, with my grandparents by my side. James has been incredibly supportive throughout all of this, and his family has stepped up to help with last-minute arrangements. As the wedding approached, the family drama began to affect other aspects of our lives. Some extended family members began taking sides. My aunt, my mom's sister, called to tell me she wouldn't be attending the wedding because she couldn't bear to see my mother so hurt. On the other hand, my cousin Rachel reached out to say she was proud of me for standing up for myself and that she'd be honored to attend. James' family has been a rock through all of this. His parents offered to step in and help with some of the traditional parent of the bride duties, like helping me shop for my dress, which I hadn't done yet because I was hoping to do it with my mom. His sister organized a beautiful bridal shower when she found out that none of my family was planning one. As for the wedding itself, we've had to make some adjustments. We've reassigned roles that would traditionally go to my parents or Megan. James' brother will now do the reading that was meant for Megan. My best friend's father, who has been like a second dad to me, will give the speech during the reception that my father was supposed to give. We've also had to deal with some vendors who were confused by the change in plans. Our wedding planner has been amazing, handling all the last-minute adjustments with grace and efficiency. She even suggested we do a first-look photo session with my grandparents before the ceremony, which I think will be incredibly special. Now, with the wedding just a few weeks away, I'm feeling a mix of emotions. I'm excited to marry the love of my life, but I'm also deeply hurt by my family's actions. Part of me wonders if I'm being too harsh, if I should have tried harder to compromise. But another part of me feels like this was the last straw in a lifetime of being second best to my sister. The hardest part is knowing that on what should be the happiest day of my life, there will be this undercurrent of sadness. I've had dreams where I'm walking down the aisle and see my parents and sister's empty seats, only to wake up in tears. James has been incredibly patient, holding me through the nightmares and reassuring me that our love is what matters most. We've also had to deal with some financial implications. My parents had initially offered to pay for about 20% of the wedding, which we've now had to cover ourselves. It's put a strain on our budget, but we've made it work. We've cut back on some non-essentials and our honeymoon will be a bit more modest than we'd initially planned, but we're okay with that. Through all of this, I've learned a lot about myself and about what family really means. I've realized that sometimes the family we choose is more important than the family we're born into. The friends and loved ones who have rallied around us during this difficult time have shown me what true support and love look like. So, Reddit, AITA for having my grandparents walk me down the aisle after my parents chose to attend my sister's housewarming party instead of my wedding? Am I letting a lifetime of resentment cloud my judgment, or am I finally standing up for myself? Any advice on how to handle the big day knowing my immediate family won't be there? Edit 1. Wow, I didn't expect this post to blow up like it has. Thank you all for your support and advice. I wanted to address a few common questions and provide some additional context. 1. Yes, Megan knew the date of my wedding when she scheduled her housewarming party. She claims she forgot, and by the time she realized, it was too late to change it without inconveniencing her guests. However, a mutual friend let slip that Megan had been planning this party for months, so I'm not sure I believe the forgot excuse. 2. My parents are contributing about 20% to the wedding costs. James and I are covering the majority, with some help from his parents as well. We've decided to return my parents' contribution to avoid any further complications. It's tight, but we're making it work. 3. Some have asked about my relationship with Megan before this. We were never super close, but we got along well enough. There have been instances of favoritism throughout our lives, but nothing as blatant as this. I always tried to be supportive of her achievements, attending her graduations, work events, etc. She's been less present for my milestones, often with excuses about being too busy. 4. To those suggesting I uninvite my parents and sister, I've decided to keep their invitations open. If they change their minds, they can attend. But I won't be begging them to come. I've sent them all the information about the ceremony and reception, but I'm not chasing them for RSVPs. 5. My grandparents are amazing. They've been incredibly supportive and have even offered to help cover the costs we're returning to my parents. We declined, but their offer meant the world to us. They've been coming to all the wedding planning meetings, and my grandmother even helped me with my final dress fitting. 6. James and I have discussed eloping, but we've decided to go ahead with the wedding as planned. We don't want to let this situation rob us of the celebration we've been planning for a year. Plus, we have so many friends and extended family members who have been supportive, and we want to celebrate with them. 7. For those wondering about other family members' reactions, it's mixed. Some are on our side, some are siding with my parents and Megan, and others are trying to stay neutral. It's definitely caused a rift in the extended family. I've had cousins reach out privately to offer support, even if they feel they can't do so publicly. 8. A few people have asked about my job and whether this has affected my work. I'm lucky to have an understanding boss who has given me some flexibility to deal with this situation. I've been transparent with her about what's going on, and she's been very supportive. It helps that I've always been a high performer, so she trusts that I'll get my work done. 9. To those asking about my mental health, yes, I'm still seeing my therapist regularly. She's been a tremendous help in processing all of this and in preparing for the emotions I'll likely feel on the wedding day. James has also started coming to some sessions with me, which has been great for us as a couple. 10. Some have suggested that this might be a blessing in disguise, allowing me to start my new life without the negativity of my family. While I understand this perspective, it's still painful. I'm trying to focus on the positives, but I'm also allowing myself to grieve the relationship I wish I had with my family. I'll try to respond to more comments when I can. Again, thank you all for your support. It means more than you know. Edit 2. It's been a week since my original post, and a lot has happened. I wanted to provide an update. 1. My parents reached out to me yesterday. They claim they've had a change of heart and want to attend the wedding. However, they're still planning to leave immediately after the ceremony to make it to Megan's party. I told them I appreciate the gesture, but I'm sticking with my decision to have my grandparents walk me down the aisle. They didn't take this well, accusing me of being unforgiving and holding grudges. 2. Megan called me in tears, accusing me of ruining her housewarming and turning the family against her. She said she's now considering canceling her party altogether. I told her that was her decision to make, but I wouldn't be changing my wedding plans regardless. She hung up on me and has been posting vague, passive-aggressive comments on social media ever since. 3. James and I have been to 2 counseling sessions to help us navigate this situation as a team. It's been incredibly helpful, and we feel stronger than ever. We've been working on strategies to support each other on the wedding day, knowing it might be emotionally challenging. 4. We've had several friends and family members step up to help with last-minute wedding tasks. My college roommate is flying in a week early to help with favors and seating arrangements. James' cousins have offered to handle the guest book and gift table at the reception. The outpouring of support has been overwhelming and heartwarming. 5. My grandparents have been practicing their walk down the aisle with me. It's been emotional, but also healing. They've shared stories about their own wedding and given us beautiful advice about marriage. My grandfather even learned how to tie a Windsor knot for the occasion. 6. We've decided to have a small family dinner the night before the wedding, inviting only those who have been supportive throughout this ordeal. It feels like we're creating a new family tradition. James' parents are hosting it at their home, and everyone is bringing a dish to share. 7. To those who suggested we elope, we actually discussed it again and decided to have a private ceremony with just us and our officiant the morning of the wedding. This way, we'll have a special moment just for us before the big celebration. We're writing personal vows for this private ceremony, while keeping the public ceremony more traditional. 8. I've had a heart-to-heart conversation with my boss about the situation. She's been incredibly understanding and has given me an extra week of paid leave for the honeymoon. Final update: the wedding was yesterday, and I wanted to share how everything turned out. 1. My parents attended the ceremony but left immediately after, as they had said they would. It was awkward, but I'm glad they made an appearance. They didn't stay for photos or the reception. 2. Megan didn't come at all. She sent a text the morning of the wedding saying she was too upset to attend. I haven't responded yet. 3. Walking down the aisle with my grandparents was one of the most special moments of my life. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. They gave a beautiful speech during the reception that had everyone in tears, happy ones this time. 4. The private ceremony James and I had in the morning was perfect. It allowed us to exchange our personal vows in an intimate setting, which made the big ceremony feel less stressful. 5. Despite the family drama, the day was magical. Our friends and supportive family members went above and beyond to make sure everything was perfect. 6. We've decided to seek family therapy once we return from our honeymoon. It's clear there are deep-seated issues that need to be addressed if we're going to move forward as a family. 7. To everyone who offered support, advice, and kind words, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your encouragement helped me stay strong and focused on what really matters, celebrating my love with James. I'm signing off now to enjoy my honeymoon. This experience has been challenging, but it's also shown me the true meaning of family, and sometimes, that family is the one we choose, not just the one we're born into. Thank you, Reddit. You've been an unexpected source of strength during one of the most difficult and beautiful times of my life.